and Master of Games here once again with a campaign recap. The year 554, the third month, the 22nd day. The morning arrives and the group meets for a hearty meal in the officers' mess. A courier runs the blood sample to the local physician, and the group gets more information on the presence of the White Scales, who are the religious arm of the Nunavut military. It appears that they are pushing to find proof that there are citizens sympathetic to Southern forces. They're questioning people around town. Luna Fell meets the group shortly after breakfast and confirms this, telling Tamer that he is on the list of citizens they plan to interview. Luna Fell provides a scroll of immunity with the royal seal and explains it can be invoked and Tamer will be protected by the royal decree. But he must not speak to the White Scales and remain silent under any questioning. They ask Lunafell why he's helping, to which Lunafell responds, "There's a great many details that I know that I cannot reveal. But I believe in your cause, and I believe that there is injustice occurring. And I'm on the side of justice. So trust me in this." Reluctantly, the group agrees, and Tamer takes the scroll. They plan on moving to the Hunter's Lodge, where Doog works, wanting to be in a public place rather than a military barracks in order to lay low while these investigations take place. The group gathers their belongings and discreetly leaves to relocate. As the group travels to the outskirts, they hear shouts from criers. "The White Scales have captured a spy!" The townfolk are all moving towards the town square. The group is traveling in the general direction, so they get a bit closer, but have no plans in getting too close. Just then, Tamer hears the man is none other than his friend Doog. He moves towards the crowd to witness Shard Silverheart addressing the large gathering, brandishing his silver sword, and Doog chained to a post on the podium. Surrounded by fully armored White Scale soldiers and 2 priests of Nunavut. "By the righteous glory of Nineveh, the sword of light and truth has revealed this man, Doog Winthorpe, as a traitor to the crown. His sentence, death. Doog, you may make right with the true God and beg for mercy. Reveal your conspirators, and Nunavut may yet grant you peace in the afterlife." Doog lifts his head, wet with tears after hours of interrogation and beating. He musters all his energy to proclaim, "There is no other. I work alone." The crowd gasps. Shard raises his sword. The citizens all seem to hold their collective breaths. The silence is broken by the sound of Tamer's booming voice. "No, he did not act alone." Doog looks up, shocked. "No, Tamer, run!" Shard points his sword at Tamer and shouts to the White Scales, "Detain and arrest that man." 2 guards move towards Tamer and the crowd parts. The group works through the crowd, Lisu toward the guard at the right of the stage. Mayor and Saphira move towards the stage front. Mayor tells Kethis to stay put in a nearby shop. As the White Scales rush Tamer, he pulls his mighty 2-handed hammer from his back. In a flash, Arid appears on the rooftop and shouts, "Stop! What proof do you have?" Shard motions to the priest and shouts an order to the arcane archer. "This is not your concern. I suggest you stand down, archer." Mayor shoots a glare towards Arid, and Arid discreetly teleports to the other side of the crowd. Just as Tamer's hammer slams heavily into the armored man, taking him off his feet, 2 other guards draw their weapons and circle. Lisu lunges at the shield of the far perimeter guard, grabbing it and shouting, "Tamer is the chosen one, the savior brought here to unite us!" These men wish to oppress the true will of God. The guards struggle to push him back into the crowd. The disciplined guards hold their position and look toward Shard for orders. Shard pulls up his sword, glares at Doog, and with a smile, I execute you as a traitor to the crown and the church, and swings for the man's neck. A wall of ice erupts around the stage and surrounds Doog. Shard's sword hits with a heavy clang. Steam rises from the magic blade, searing into the ice, but it holds. One of the priests calls upon Nunava. Golden bands of light appear around Tamer's eyes, wrist, mouth, and feet. His mind clouds, and he feels warm sunlight on his face. Blissful whispers in his mind. Arid spots Lunafel at the edge of the crowd, who's moving quickly away, and Arid teleports to him. Behind a nearby building. What's going on? I thought the scroll you gave Tamer immunity. It's only if he doesn't speak and admit his allegiance to that man. I was very clear, but he could just not sit back while his friend was executed. I admire his loyalty, but I cannot do anything for him now. He's made his choice. I need to ride quickly north and inform the king of the events here. Do not confront the church. They have jurisdiction in these matters. We will meet again. And with that, Lunafel darts into the shadows. Mayor grabs Saphira by the arm through clenched teeth. We need to leave now. But Tamer is in trouble. We just can't. Doog watches as his friend is bound with the two guards closing in, and his runes glow. He begins to fly into the air above the stage. The other priest calls out, and a shaft of white holy light sears down from the heavens and smites Doog, who falls to the stage with a sickening crunch, a blackened husk. Saphira focuses her magic and reaches into Tamer's mind, attempting to guide him out. But Tamer's mind is weak, and despite his massive frame, he is helpless in the bonds. Shard leaps from the stage toward Tamer. Mayor urges Saphira again. It's time to leave. Saphira looks towards Tamer and reluctantly follows Mayor, slipping into the crowd and moving away to where Kethis is hiding in a nearby cobbler shop just off the town square. Shard proclaims, I charge you with conspiracy against the crown and the church. Your actions and words, your admission. Your sentence is death. By the sword of truth and light of the Lord our God Nunava. His weapon gleams in the sun. The scene fades to a spring day as a young boy watches soldiers march by. He waves at them and tells his mom, I want to be a soldier, Mommy. She scolds him. Oh no, that's far too dangerous. You are going to be a cobbler, like your father and his fathers before him. I don't want my darling boy getting hurt. The boy sulks for a moment, then runs around the yard, swinging a stick like it was a sword, dreaming of adventure. His mother smiles and watches her child play, wanting nothing but the best. The scene changes again. Shard's weapon gleaming in that same sunlight. Above his head, with both hands, swings heavily down upon the helpless Tamer, who at that moment is lifted off his feet and the ground by Li Su, proclaiming, This man is the true savior. The church is wrong, corrupted by men. The true savior will bring us freedom. Hefting Tamer off his feet and lunging to the right, Shard's momentum is powerful, and as Li Su shifts out of the way, the town cobbler stands alone behind Tamer, flat-footed, and catches the sword of truth directly in the face. The blade cleaves the man to his sternum, flesh sizzling and searing. The crowd falls silent. Shard spits, enraged. Stop that man! The crowd turns into a mob, screaming that the church killed an innocent man, that Tamer did nothing wrong. The crowd parts to let Li Su through, and Tamer gathers his feet and his mind. They run behind the buildings and rendezvous with the group outside of the square. The white scales are forced back against the angry crowd, just as golden bonds wrapped the eyes, mouth, hands, and feet of Shard Silverheart. The priest proclaiming, "Lord Nunavah, we trust your actions and signs. We shall pray for the dead and the living." Under heavy escort by the town militia, the white scales are head back to the church grounds, and the angry crowd is dispersed. In the chaos, the group meets back at the hunter's lodge. They head to the servants' quarters, pay some gold so they are not followed, and they decide what to do next. This is where the next game begins.